and welcome to a sexy, titillating edition of ARG Presents. I'm your good buddy, your good pal, Amigo Aaron, and I predict that this man will suck up the show. It's the BRENT.
I have a vision, Aaron.
Yes, what is it?
It's hazy, it's furry, it's...
Yeah.
I don't know. How's it going?
You had nothing, did you? What a geek. So, if you were here last week, we spun the wheel. We made the exciting, confusing deal. This week, we'll be looking at, BAM, Urban Legends games. These are games that are involved with some sort of urban legend.
Yes, that have an urban legend attached to them.
Allegedly. So, what?
Allegedly?
Yeah, right. And you can see, to shove my point home, it's the Urban Yeti. I put it up here for you.
Yes.
On the screen.
Welcome back, my good friend.
So, what in God's name are we doing here? Because it was confusing to me at first. So, when I hear urban legends,
yes,
what I think of are like stuff like the Urban Yeti or games that have like for example, Happy Coding suggested that I do a game on the Jersey Devil. Okay, there's a Jersey Devil game.
Right. No, this isn't a game about urban legends.
Right.
This is a game that has an urban legend about it.
I understand that now, but it took me a while. And what confused me more is there are a few games that are called Urban Legend. There's a couple of them that are just games about urban legends. I didn't know if those qualified.
No.
But they're called Urban Legend.
No.
Well, I didn't pick them, needless to say.
Anyone that is confused about this subject needs to step back.
Give us some examples of games that have an urban legend around them.
Well,
for the people. Of course, I know.
Street Fighter 2.
All right.
There was an urban legend that said that if you did all these crazy maneuvers and you won the entire game, that you could you unlock and fight a new character, the Shenlong at the end.
Right.
And that would be an example. Or if
Polybius.
Yes, that would be. Although that's an urban legend attached to a non-existent game, that still fits the bill.
When I was researching this, I came across some stuff that I'd heard. For example, I think it was GTA San Andreas. There's supposed to be a Bigfoot or something, that the guy that rolls through it, and you sort of occasionally will spot him.
Yeah.
But no one knew for sure he was in the game.
Yes.
Another one was Minecraft, which I actually see on the screen now. There's a dude in Minecraft, apparently, that you come across or something. These are weird. This is a weird thing to pick up.
Yeah.
What are some other ones you can think of?
Well, I've got a deep, dark one that I was going to pick. Would you like me to go over it now?
Well, if you didn't pick it, go ahead.
Okay. Maniac Mansion.
Yeah.
Okay. There's an urban legend attached to it that the chainsaw in the kitchen you can fill up with gas and use.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way this started was, it started globally, but it all kind of had the same story, and this story took place in Germany. A magazine at the time, because this was before the internet and all that good jazz, a magazine at the time had a tips section, and you could write in tips and get your letter posted. And he wrote in a tip that you could fuel up the chainsaw if you did this set of events.
Yeah.
And people tried it, and it didn't work. And people are like, hey, we get to this step, and we don't know how to get past it. Well, then another letter shows up. It says, for people who are trying to fuel up the chainsaw, but can't get it to work because you get stuck here, this is how you get past that step. This went on for 13 months of people asking questions, and they get a response back saying, this is how you get past that. Oh, well, now we're stuck here. Well, this is how you get past that. And once you get the chainsaw, this is all the things you can do with it. But it was all crap. And that was the example from Germany, but this actually happened everywhere. It was a global event of people trying to get this chainsaw to work. And it turns out it was such a big event that Lucas incorporated it into later games. Talking about there was one place where you could get fuel, but it was fuel only for a chainsaw, which had no use in the game that it was actually in.
They were just ribbing people, basically.
Yeah. It was an amazing urban legend that grew out of people medieval trolling, as it were. Trolling by magazine. Of course, then you've got magazines that do their own trolling, like I was talking about the Street Fighter hidden character.
Yeah.
Just schoolyard talk that gets these rumors going that seem so plausible.
Yeah.
But end up nothing. There's nothing actually there.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one of the ones that came up a lot, and I didn't want to pick this, but it did amuse me, was the Madden curse. The athletes that are on the cover of John Madden end up getting mauled and sometimes killed because of their horrible luck of being put on the cover of this game.
Yep.
It doesn't happen every year, but there was a string of years.
It was
where it
like
happened
7 years, yeah.
And Lobie the man that gets put on there. In fact, I've even heard that some people flat out did not want the cover, despite the wad and the prestige that you would get from it. So there were some weird ones in here. Another one I saw was a Pokemon game that apparently flashed in a certain way that made people get sick or go crazy.
Well, no, that's from the cartoon.
No. This is from a game.
Yeah, the cartoon was.
Yeah, the cartoon that's the flashing on the screen. Yeah. There was a bunch of weird stuff. What about not heard most of it?
Berserk.
I haven't heard that one.
If you get the high, if you ever beat the high, everyone who beat the high score of Berserk died at the machine. And that had some truth rooted into it because Berserk was a endurance game, right?
Yeah.
And one of the kids that beat it, he was like 14 or 15, was a young kid, beat the high score, and as he was walking away from the machine, died of a heart attack.
Oh, man.
That truly happened, but it sparred all these other rumors that if you beat the high score of Berserk, like you die within like 48 hours. So that one was sparked out of a little bit of truth that kind of grew into a bigger...
I wonder how many of these things became, like, for example, when we originally played Super Mario Brothers, you always wanted to jump over the flagpole. Well, it turns out you can jump over the flagpole, given the right circumstances. But I wonder, I mean, that stuff like that makes it interesting because when you see something like that and they pull it off, it sort of reinforces that this stuff could actually be real.
Well, the negative world. It was always the American version. If you go, you can get to the negative world, but it just goes on forever. Well, in the Japanese version, you can actually complete the negative world. And you can go to -1, 2, and all the way to 1, 4 when the game just resets. Of course, that's misinformation for the American audience that didn't have that. But there was all these rumors about, well, if you go this path, or you have to get this many coins or whatever. So it's kind of interesting how urban legends start. Good ones. Yeah. Good ones.
And eventually, like you mentioned with the gasoline, sometimes they'll just meld those legends into the actual Mortal Kombat's probably the king of that.
Yes.
But also I know the Grand Theft Auto people did that as well. So with all that said, we were tasked with looking at a couple games that fit the bill. And I will say I struggled a little bit this one. Before would you stop petting the Urban Yeti? Anyway, I struggled a little bit before I finally came up with one, but I think this meets the criteria.
All right.
Brent. And the game, and I just played this on stream a couple weeks ago, so it's fresh in my mind. And that game is, bam, it's Dead or Alive Xtreme Beach Volleyball, Brent.
Yes.
And what a game this is, if you know what I mean. Released on the original OG Xbox 2003. Developed by Team Ninja.
Yes.
You know, Team Ninja is this outfit that I had these delusions of grandeur in my head about all the great stuff they've done.
They've done a lot of good stuff.
They've done the Dead or Alive series and the Ninja Gaiden series. That's pretty much all the stuff that they've really done. Like, what else have they done? Not much. A couple, one or two of the little things.
No, they've done a lot of recent stuff. They've gotten into the Dark Souls type of gaming, and they've had some success with their spin-offs.
These are the ones I know. Published by Techno, of course. Techno, they've done the DOA series, Ninja Gaidens, and they also did Techno Super Bowl, everybody's favorite brand, including yours. What's the scoop on this? It was released in January 22nd, 2003 in North America, and this is a game that was allegedly, I wonder about this origin, but I'll go ahead and repeat the story. So, in case you're not familiar with the Dead or Alive games, they're fighting games featuring really hot women. That's the plan, okay? And some guys.
From the Dead or Alive.
But the gimmick was the chicks in these were rendered to such a degree that they were super hot. complete with boob physics. You know, they love that. Bouncing.
Well, that's
lots of bouncing.
That's a Dead or Alive thing.
It's a Dead or Alive trademark. They ended up getting picked up by a lot of other outfits, you know, over the years. And so what this spawned was people that were specifically fans of that franchise, mostly due to the ladies in the franchise. The ladies were the star of this.
Well, yeah. I mean, for this game, yes.
No, I'm talking about the series up to this point. Okay.
I mean, Dead or Alive was a decent fighter.
Name what great guys are in these things. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the characters.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay,
I agree then.
Now, Dead or Alive did some stuff that broke some ground in actual fighting games, and a lot of stuff with your environment that was different. You know, being able to push people up against walls and stuff. It was different. I'm just saying. Before I get too deep into this, your thoughts on the Dead or Alive fighting franchise as it was one of the first two or three games?
Yeah, it was all right.
Did you?
I'm not a huge 3D fighter fan. Of Virtua Fighter, Dead or Alive, or Tekken.
Yeah.
Even the Soul Calibur ones are for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was third tier. Obviously, it was behind your Virtual Fighters. It was behind your Tekkens. But I would say it was third.
They had a gimmick, though.
Yeah.
You know, just like any good anything, if you're battling from behind, you've got to have a good gimmick, and they had a niche.
Yeah.
So they put out 3 of these things, and when I say 3, I mean Dead or Alive 1, 2, and 3, plus some special editions and all the stuff, just like Street Fighter.
Of course.
And then, allegedly, the people at Tecmo had heard from the fans who had begged them. They had begged them to put a beach volleyball mini game and add that to the franchise, like as a mini game. All right, and the geniuses, they were like, wait a minute, a mini game, that's for suckers. We're going for the full enchilada here, and we're putting in a full game, and that game was Dead or Alive Xtreme Beach Volleyball. Now, it takes place exactly at the end of Dead or Alive 3. Now, these Dead or Alive games are like tournaments just like Tekken and everything else.
All of them, yeah.
So, in storyline, at the end of Dead or Alive 3, one of the male characters, Zach, wins the tournament. He wins a crap load of money, okay? So, he's got all the hot women, no men, just the women, on his luxury barge or yacht, okay? And so he's driving them to an island that he purchased for a fighting tournament, all right? And there's a great cutscene at the beginning. The opening cutscene on this game is rather infamous for its stupidity, because it's lots of girls, you know, diving, sailing around, doing something at the beach, just like a little, to get you primed up for the actual game. But the funniest part of it is, Zach is there doing like a Titanic ripoff. And at one point, he unleashes throws his cape off, he's got a jetpack on.
Yeah.
He shoots up into the air, the jetpack malfunctions, he flies all over the place, goes to a billboard. By the way, I should mention that the voice of Zach was Dennis Rodman, of all people, the Worm, the Chicago Bull basketball player turned wrestler turned voice actor. Also, of course, went to North Korea. This guy's been all over the place. You got to give him credit. He doesn't, you know. So anyway, once the girls get to the island, they are shocked to learn that there is no fighting tournament. Basically, Zach has kidnapped them for a 2-week vacation. That's the game. That's the truth. That's in storyline.
Yeah, I know.
He built this island to have hot women stay there for a couple weeks. Okay, not a money maker probably. Although the prices he charged, he tries to get away with something. That's for sure. So to put this game in perspective, you play. You can pick the character that you want to be, and once you pick them, you go through 14 days, and basically every day is like a 4 slots of things to do.
Yeah.
There's 3 slots where you can pretty much do anything, and then there's like it's time to go to bed slot, nighttime slot. Once you pick your character, you're allowed to, like, I guess, sort of look through the island, not really, because the first thing you do is go and meet Lisa, who's laying out at the pool or at the beach. She's the one that tells you there's no tournament. So you find out in game during the very first part of the game that there is no game effectively. And so what you're tasked to do is basically kill time. And so what you want to do is, what do you do on a desert island or whatever? You play volleyball, right? That's what you do. I'm just saying, and buy stuff, right? So what you want to do in this game is to play volleyball, to make money, and there's some other things you can do, which we'll get into. And then you go to Zach's ridiculously expensive store. Everything on the island, you're paid in Zach bucks, by the way. It's like going to Krusty Land, you know? And so Zach bucks, apparently the exchange rate is like the peso or the ruble. I mean, it's like a buck. It's like a zillion of these Zach bucks, right? Everything's inflated. So when you go to buy like a bikini, you could pay 100 million Zach bucks for a bikini. That's a lot of Zach bucks to carry around. The true goal of this game is, aside from getting outside, is to basically make friends. Yeah. Okay? I mean, well, we'll get to the real goal, but that's the in-game goal. And so the focus of the game is your interpersonal relationships with the other girls.
Yeah.
Okay? So, how do you get over with these chicks? Keep in mind, some of these chicks have vowed to kill you or tried in multiple games. All the backstory from the other games, throw that out. Like mortal enemies from the other games, there'll be a team of volleyball players in this. All right? So what you do is you go and buy them gifts with Zach bucks, and then what you try to do is effectively bribe these women into being your friend and your partner. Because in game, to do good at the volleyball game, you have to have a good partner who's happy and who likes you. Okay?
Yep.
If your partner is depressed, for example, let's say we were partners, okay, in volleyball. We had our $100 million bikinis on, and we're out there, but let's say you're not happy. Well, you're going to play like crap. So I'm going to keep buying you Zach Buck fueled crap to make you happy.
I got a confession for you, Aaron.
Yeah.
If I'm out there on a beach volleyball, we're not going to win.
Yeah.
And if you're my partner, we might not score.
No. I've actually played volleyball, though, and at a semi-pro level.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, someone paid me to stop.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so the gift giving in this is wacky, okay? And it's sort of funny, but it's sort of sad. So again, you've got 3 slots to fill with your day. Yeah. Okay, you can basically just go around and just cavort. Like look at hot chicks, and take pictures. You can go and you can see where people are on the island, so you can approach them and they're being all sexy, and then you say, hey, listen, here's a gift for you.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you might pay 50,000 or 50 million Zach bucks for a gift, and then the chick's like, I'll open it later.
Yeah.
Or they're like, oh, thanks. And sometimes I'm like, I'll treasure it forever. And then you're like, hey, will you team up with me? They're like, nah. You're like, wow. It's brutal. Even chicks you've given gift after gift. Sometimes they just no-sell your gift. And I love the ones where they won't open it at all and they just leave. And sometimes they just flat out refuse to even deal with you. You're out, They must be bribed at all times. Bribed. So you could also, there's poolside, and they've got a pool game where you jump across these
tons of mini games. Yeah.
Well, no, there's not tons. There's not tons at all. There's like 3.
Several.
No, saying tons says like there's not. This is not the Wii.
Well, no.
All right.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
The game is you run across these little floaty squares. That's a game, and if you succeed in this, you can earn Zach bucks.
Yeah.
The funny thing about the Zach bucks is like you're gonna make, let's say, 5,000 Zach bucks or 1,000 Zach bucks. That ain't nothing. That's like someone threw you a quarter for going across these things, and you can keep doing it over and over. And the way you do it is like light and hard taps on the buttons for every step. Yeah. It's not that fun. And it's not super hard, but
it's something you can learn and get pretty good at.
You can get just enough money to get someone a cheap gift. It's like getting something for somebody that you got from a carny. Like I won this at the carnival. That's what it reminds me of. And so you've got that. Then you've got sometimes you can go out to the jungle and they just go out there and lay around and look sexy. But there are different beaches that you can play different games of volleyball on, and so you want to see which girl's the best at volleyball and avoid them. You want to play the worst girls to start out.
Right.
Let's talk about the volleyball, all right? Because you got to. It's the volleyball game. So the volleyball there are different beaches, different areas where you play volleyball. And I will say, some of them look really. The graphics are great.
Yeah, you can't complain about the graphics.
No, not just because the hot women. No, the hot women look great. You know.
Yeah, especially for Xbox era graphics, they're incredible.
And you play volleyball, you're kicking up dirt, but really this is only it's a 2-button volleyball game, effectively.
It's simple.
It's just like ping pong rules. You play to 7, you have to win by 2, and there's a hard and easy serve. You can set the ball up and you can spike the ball. It's not that tough. We used to play a volleyball game. What was that game we used to own in our old gauntlet machine? And it was way funner than this, probably. I think it's okay.
Yeah, no, I love Super V-Ball.
But the problem is that was 2D garbage graphics, and this is like 3-dimensional hot girl graphics. That's what the draw was in this.
Of course.
And the sand is displaced. I mean, they did little stuff to show that they were studs graphically.
Well, the animation in this is really good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a nothing burger is basically it. So. You do your game, you win, you lose, or whatever, okay? So, aside from volleyball, aside from the pool thing, then you've also got Zach's Casino. Zach's Casino reminds me of my time at a real casino because you take a bath in this casino. The games, especially, I'll tell you one thing, do not, under any circumstances, play the slot machines. Because when you go up to the slot machine, I guess you sit down at it, and it empties your entire account of Zach Bucks. It puts those in the machine. So you can lose like 100,000 Zach Bucks on a spin.
Yeah, but you can cash out. You just have to realize what's going on.
Dude, it's so cheap. You never win at the slot machines. You lose over. I mean, you can lose money left and right. You have to hop across that dang pool to get the money. So don't play the slot machines. There's like 6 of them. Oh, something else I should mention. All the slot machines and the poker cards, they're all themed with you. And the girls. So not only did Zach kidnap you, he literally stole your likeness to make slot machines, playing cards. Everything is themed about the girls. That would be double. Can you imagine going to a casino that's themed about you? There's a BRENT, and then losing to the BRENT slot machine over and over.
I think it would make losing easier.
No, yeah,
I feel okay about it.
Well, I'm not going to go to that, but this is weird. It plays that sort of, the poker you play when you're at the bar in Vegas on the mechanical gimmick. It's not real poker. You just try to get hands for points and does that.
It's video poker.
You're not actually playing anyone.
No, it's video poker.
Blackjack's is sort of one-on-one. This stuff is roulette. By the way, don't play that either. You get killed in that, too. Roulette's brutal. And I know you're a big roulette guy.
I mean, it's roulette. It is what it is.
Oh no, I'm just saying the games suck. It's my point. They're not. They look good, but don't ever play them. You'll take a bath. They're
just not rigged. No, in the player's favor. They're set up to be actual odds.
Dude, in real life, I don't take my entire bank account and empty it into the slot machine, and then lose 100,000 bucks on a spin. That's no good. So yeah, avoid. So. What else can you do? Well, we talked about beach volleyball, we talked about the pool, we talked about the picture taking. That's it. You go back to your room, and every night, Zach sends you some crappy little gift, a brooch, or some crap, or a hat. There's nothing better than seeing this hot Asian bikini girl in a trucker hat. I had trucker BRENT flashbacks when I was sent the hat in the mail. Who thought that was a good gift, Zach, you idiot? Now, you're probably asking yourself, when does the theme of the show kick in? Well, it kicks in right now. So, why on earth would this game be an urban legend? Well, this game followed in the tradition of games like Tomb Raider because everyone thought that this game had the ever popular nude code. The nude code, Brent. What would the code do, allegedly? Well, it'd make all the characters naked. There you go. As simple as that. Well,
I mean, that's normally what nude means, yeah. Good call.
So, how did this come about? Well, number one, this thing is rated M, and on the box it says there's nudity. Okay, and there kind of, sort of is. At the very beginning of the game, in the cinematic, a chick drops her shaw, her sexily, and then jumps off a cliff. You see nothing, right? But they had to put that on there, and the people at Techno weren't idiots. They want that on there, okay? They want you to think you're going to see these chicks naked. Well, you're not, all right, with a butt, no pun intended. And so during the old EGM April Fool's gimmick, they they said they had a cheat code for this that would allow the nudity to come out, okay? And, of course, this was bogus, but people already assumed it was in there, right? And so for years, this game has been rumored to have a nudity code. I read a story from a guy, and apparently this was confirmed by other people. He had been told that the Xbox, you could use the nude code if you had the Xbox set as an adult Xbox, and not as and you had to do that, you had to pull off the Xbox patch, the disc on the front, and there's a button under it. Have you heard this? And there's a button you would push to turn on the maturity level of your Xbox. So suckers were prying the tops off their Xbox to get to this button. That's gold right there. I'm glad you heard that because I read that 2 different places. So that people were doing that. So anyway, EGM took a bath over this, and people were real pissed off. But I mean, listen, that's what EGM does. That's back in the day.
That's how you sell magazines, man. That's how you sell magazines.
You know, if you flash forward, so as is everything, and Tomb Raider had this happen too, and GTA and other things. Someone was like, nude code, we'll just edit the game, and they did. So in 2005, Techno had to sue this guy called Ninja Hacker, or actually it's ninjahacker.net, and it was a mod site that was dedicated to people who would send in their custom skins for this game. Custom skins, right? And what that would do, it would basically, well, they customized the girl. Sometimes at first they would just like change the colors of the bikinis to make them like skin colored, but that was weird. And then eventually they just remodeled these chicks.
Yeah.
So Techno sued them, and they were after between $1,000 and $100,000 for every skin swapped on the site. And there were tons. I had heard about this site. I would have never have gone there, of course. And the site was ultimately shut down, and no one knows exactly what the payment was. I would assume they paid nothing.
I would assume zero.
Right. So, can you play this game with naked girls right now if you wanted to? Yes. If you wanted to go to the trouble of going to a mod site, getting the ISO, taking it apart, putting these on it, reburning the game, or playing on an emulator, you could play this with nude ladies. Now, I have seen video, not this game, but other games where they did that, and it's weird. It's not, I'd never thought it was sexy at all, but I mean, your mileage may vary. Now, this game, amazingly, I didn't even know this, Brent. So when this game came out, you'd think to yourself, man, this is going to get murdered, you know, because of how stupid it is and how little there is to it. Well, I actually did pretty good in the magazines. The Metacritic score, 74%, if you can believe it, and some people killed it. Some of the reviewers were brutal. One guy said, the GameSpot editor, it says, to put it another way, Tech Mode just went and set the game industry back about 5 years. That was a brutal burial. Funnily, I don't think they did that. So this game reviewed well. In Japan, it sold 122 copies, 122,000 copies during its first week, which is not bad.
No, it's pretty good.
And at the end of the year, they'd sold 127,000 copies in the region. That's okay. It's okay. It's not a huge hit, but nevertheless, this game got a sequel on 360. The sequel was pretty much the exact same game with juiced up graphics. They weren't juiced up that much. They added a few differences. And then it got another sequel. So it's got 2 sequels.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Have you played either of the sequels for this?
No.
Good move. What are we doing? My God. Have these people heard of the internet? I had a look to see what this is going for on eBay, and it's not going for much. You can get a copy for under $30, United States. Brent, what did you think about it? I haven't gotten your thoughts on the game.
I've been patiently waiting.
Thank you.
This game is okay.
Yeah.
Something you have to realize: this is a cultural difference from America or the West and Asian countries.
Yeah.
More specifically, the U.S. and Japan.
Oh yeah.
They sell dating sims over there, or life sims, or however you want to label it, and they are extremely popular. They're not all nudie, crazed games.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them are. But you've got just as many popular ones that don't go that far deep into it.
Yeah.
And that is basically what this is. That it is almost all those dating sim type games have some kind of generalized theme.
Right.
This one just happened to be beach volleyball.
But would you consider this a dating sim?
Yes, 100%.
Why?
Because you are.
There's no actual dating. You just sort of run around your buddy.
And yeah, I get it.
It's more of a buddy sim.
Well, sure, you can call it whatever you want, but the fact of the matter is, you learn the preferences of the ladies, and then you buy them clothes and you buy them gifts and you do all these things to up your reputation with them. The whole volleyball thing is just window dressing. It's ends to a mean or means to an end, and it's fine. It's fine if that's your thing. It's fine. Does it play an okay game of volleyball? Yeah, that's fine.
I think okay, yes, an okay game. Yeah.
Is the casino stuff fun? It's okay.
We've played 8-bit casino games that were like blew this one away.
Well, no, the thing is,
Except
though,
for the hotness.
a lot of it is, the reason why you feel that way is, in this game, the money is important. When you're just playing virtual poker, the odds are skewed for you to win because winning makes you happy. Happy makes you tell your friend about the game, and then it goes down that path.
Let me just put it this way. One of the things they changed in the 360 version of this, they made the casino easier.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Well, no, that easier just means the odds are more in the player's favor. This is probably based more
This is
on,
like casinos here in this state.
Yeah, no,
like they take you to
that's
they take you to the money bank.
That's my point. The casinos in this are realistic odds. We're
not playing this for realism, man.
Well,
I'm buying bikinis with all this money. That's all I'm doing.
Anyway, so the casino part of it, it's fine. But at the end of the day, it's all about building. How's the relationship simulator part of it? And to be honest, it's low.
It's depressing.
It's low.
It's depressing.
No,
it's heartbreaking, actually.
It makes you. It's meant to be played dozens upon hundreds of times, so you know exactly what to give whatever girl you're trying to impress at the time. Am I going to do that? No. Now, I do know people that have played this game and 100%ed it.
Those people need to get out of the house.
No, it's just if it's something you have to step back, Aaron. If this is something you load up in place of watching, I don't know, another episode of Cops.
Yeah.
And this is just your way of relaxing for a little bit, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, can you get obsessed about this type of games? Yes, then you've got a problem. If you start thinking these are real women, then you've got a problem.
Yeah, you sure do.
But if you're just killing time, whatever, it's fine. It's not my type of game, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Do I think this does the relationship stuff very well?
No.
No, I don't. Only because it's a ton of trial and error. The girls sometimes will give you subtle clues of things they like and don't like, but a lot of time it's buy them something and then base off their reaction, or go to a supplemental information source.
Yeah.
So not my thing, and for the urban legend attached to it, because that's what the show is about. Kind of lame.
Well,
I mean, you knew
the
it was going to be.
lawsuit made it better. That's all reason.
The lawsuit does make it better.
Yeah. I read that the way you can tell the mood of your partner in volleyball is by the way their portrait's facing when you load the game. That's what I read. I can't vouch that. Happy did remind me, this game has sort of a legendary soundtrack of its era,
Yeah.
And
It's not Tony Hawk, but
no, I don't mean legendarily good. I mean, it's a game of its era. You go back and listen to it now, you're like, oh,
I kind of like it.
it's okay. It's okay. So there you go. Dead or Alive. Okay, you can get this thing for $30. It's a conversation piece. I will say the relationships in this are a lot like my real relationships with women, where I get them lovely gifts. Sometimes I feed them. and then they just are not interested and will slowly walk away. But they'll keep taking the gifts. That is, if anything, I did learn that life lesson from this game. Dead or Alive, Xtreme Beast Volleyball, probably worth checking out at some point down the road. Now, with all that said, Brent, you went in a totally different direction, and I'm interested to hear your slant on this one.
Yeah, we're gonna get a little dark here, Aaron.
Is that what we're doing?
We are leaving the beautiful beaches behind, and we're gonna say a little bit to Taboo the Sixth Sense.
Oh man, okay.
We're
Taboo.
going a little bit dark.
I got to tell you, I never heard of this one. And I was sort of surprised. It's sort of like my alley.
Taboo the Sixth Sense, developed by Rare, published by Trade East, back in 1989. Aaron,
I can't believe Rare did this. I'm baffled at that.
Rare did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got to remember that.
Yeah.
It wasn't all good, wasn't all bad. But I want to talk a little bit about who designed this game. That was Julian Jameson. And you are going to recognize some of his stuff, Aaron.
All right.
And it's going to make you go, whoa, really? He did this?
All right.
Ever played a little game called Spy vs. Spy?
Yeah.
He programmed for that.
I never liked that game.
What about a little game called WWF WrestleMania for the NES?
Yeah, that sucked. I hated that game.
He did that too.
And wow, he's got a bad, so far so bad. What else?
What about a little Amiga game, Amiga/SE game called Cannon Fodder?
Oh, okay.
He's the co-designer and programmer for both of those.
What's this guy's name again?
Jules Jameson.
Oh yeah, okay, I got
Jameson.
it. Jules, yeah.
He also
he vindicated himself with that one, boy. He took a step up with Cannon Fodder.
He also did Sensible Golf.
Which I don't hate that, but a lot of people don't like it.
In his later years, he did do a couple PC games, but he was really producer and senior producer on things like Croc, Legends of the Gobble.
That's one of those Me Too 3D games.
And G Police, Weapons of Justice, which I might have to check
G
that
Police
out.
actually has a rep, a good rep. I've heard of that one. Yeah.
So he was tasked for making a game for the Nintendo, and he came up with Taboo the Sixth Sense, and this is nothing more than a tarot card read. When you start the game, you are asked to put in your name, your birthday, and your gender.
Yeah.
And then you are told to ask it a question. And you really want to lean more towards a yes or no question. You can write whatever you want.
I didn't think it mattered.
Yeah, you can write whatever you want.
My question was never answered with any effectiveness.
But you use the crosshairs on your controller to slide over the letters, and it writes it in this calligraphy on a scroll.
Yeah.
And you submit your question to Taboo, and it will deal out the classic 10-card Taboo setup and read your tarot cards.
Yeah.
And
it's not the 10-card classic Taboo setup.
No, tarot read. Yeah. Sorry, I read Taboo on the screen. So it deals out all the cards.
Yeah.
And it is said that while it's shuffling the cards, if you take the crosshairs and move them around, you influence the.
Where does that say?
That's in the instruction manual.
Oh, okay. I didn't even do that. Matt explains it.
The shuffle. It has no visual cue that you're doing this at all. But yeah, so it shuffles up the cards and it deals them out, and then it flips over in series, and it comes up and gives you what the card is, what the card means, and what the card means to you.
All right.
And each of them have this an animated card, or an illustrated card, I should say, and it has music based on the suits of the cards.
Yeah.
And it goes over and it does this for all 10 cards, and then that's your reading. And then it asks you what state you're from, and how many numbers and what range your lottery is in.
Yeah.
And it will give you your lucky numbers.
I like it, yeah.
That's the game.
Right.
That's not the intro. That's the entire experience.
Yeah.
That's all of it, Aaron. That's. I just did the entire video game.
Yeah. Oh, you done?
Did you complete this? Did you
I
speed
did.
run it?
In fact, I went through it twice. You know, I will say, the graphics in this are nice. I think for the NES, they're quite good. I thought they did a good job with the presentation of it. You know, I'm not surprised a game like this exists, frankly, because these games are all over. Nowadays, you just go to a web page for this stuff. But there was a time where, I mean, this predates you even. There was a time where this sort of thing was in vogue. I mean, when I was on BBSs back in the day, there were all kinds of programs for picking lottery numbers you download. There was all kinds of stuff for tarot. So this is just, this is a program that a few years past where this would have been totally normal, you know. And if you're into tarot and you need someone to deal it for you, you know, I don't know, spiritually speaking, how the NES is going to fare with the people that the fates that determine what these tarot cards are. That may be an issue for you, and you're not going to get. One thing that would have been nice is, of course, now we're getting crazy. All right. So there are about 1 million different types of tarot decks. There's your standard deck. I've got probably 5 or 6 different decks in the house. Okay, and some of the decks have their own layouts. So some they have their own art and stuff. So you could have taken this concept much further than they did. You know, they didn't do that. You know, but I mean, you're talking to someone who owns a fortune-telling machine that also picks your numbers. I own a huge coin-operated machine that I carried down 3 flights of stairs in another city. Okay, so I'm not going to poo-poo this because I can understand that certain people are into this. It amused me that Trade West produced this. I think they're the same people that did Off-Road. I think that was one of theirs. So a real different jump there in terms of what they produce. But I mean, I thought this was a fairly competent, tiny thing. If they sold this for the right price and people were into it, they sold this for full price. Yep. It's a hideous debacle then. I'm sorry, my bad. Please continue with your summarization.
Well, few things that this game is famous for, one of them being the urban legends things, but I'll get back to that. This was a Nintendo game, an NES Nintendo game.
By Rare.
Published by Trade West. Those are all recognizable big person names,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But this was a Nintendo game that featured religious symbolism. That's a big deal.
It does?
It does. It represents the physical manifestation of the devil. Along with religious symbols such as crosses. And it has cards with full nudity. This game has more nudity than Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
I didn't see any nudity.
It is there. That's 3 of the cards have nudity in their drawings, and one of them is so predominant we couldn't show it on here and not get in trouble.
I better be paying attention to these cards this last time.
And this got past everybody. It's mind blowing. If you remember me talking about Maniac Mansion,
yeah,
if you go back and watch our first review of Maniac Mansion, they wouldn't let LucasArts say the word scum in their credits when referring to the scum programming system.
Yeah.
Because they said you couldn't have scum in the game.
I don't know, I can see where Japan would let this slide.
No.
I can see that.
No.
They probably didn't play it long enough to see the nudity.
What do you play? Aaron, I played like 7 games of this in 10 minutes.
Well, you're not wrong.
That's crazy.
So where's the urban legend come in?
Well, Aaron, this was on store shelves for a very small amount of time.
All right.
And it was mysteriously pulled.
Right. Because of the nudity.
No.
Okay. Because of the religious stuff.
No.
Okay.
It was pulled. In the manual, it says this game is not for anyone 14 and under.
Okay.
Okay. First, now it doesn't, you're not age restricted, but it says, if you're under 14, no, let's not do this. Well, rumor has it that some kids got a hold of this game, and they asked the where you could write in the question, it's like, am I going to die in a bicycle accident, or how am I going to die? And when the cards were read, they were like, oh crap, I'm going to die. It implied that they'd be dying very soon, and then they did die.
Right.
And parents were like, listen, your game, I'm not saying that your game killed my kid, but maybe it put him in that mindset that I'm going to die. And then someone looking for war often finds it sort of scenario.
This has got to be crap.
No! So, I don't know that it's one confirmed, super air quotes, that this happened, but it was rumored that it happened a lot, not defining a lot, and that they pulled it off of shelves for that.
But you've got no basis for this.
It's an urban legend.
Because someone was just saying in the chat that this game can be found plentifully out in the wild.
Absolutely, it can.
Okay, well then how did that happen? We're pulling the game, we're going to give them away? Is that what happened?
I'm just reporting.
Can you imagine a kid? He's like, man, the NES is I'm going to die in a bike wreck. It's over. And these kids had problems. You know what I'm saying? I'm not buying this. This urban legend blows. There's nothing to it.
This game was pulled off the shelf.
You're sure of that?
Yes. Why it was pulled off, that's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
But the urban legend is it was pulled off because some kids were playing it, got their fortune read, and then died.
Plus, you know not to ask questions like that to these things.
I'm just telling you.
Those idiots.
I'm just telling you.
No offense to dead children, but still.
But yes, this game is not rare, but it is also not readily available. You can find this on eBay
for nothing.
Loose for the $10 range. You can get a graded sealed copy for 190 buckaroos. So, yeah.
Can you imagine being a kid and grandma's at Kmart and she's getting little Jimmy a Christmas gift? She's like, oh, this looks good. I'll just pick anything. And you get this and you open it up on Christmas morning and this is what you've got? Random numbers and some crap? I predict Granny would get this thrown at her is what I think would happen.
This was never meant to be played by children.
Was there any rating system or anything?
No, this was a Nintendo, Aaron.
But I'm sure Nintendo didn't just give out and let anyone make games for them.
I understand that.
Can you imagine Trade West? Like, listen, we can only make so many Nintendo games in a year because, as molded by Nintendo, the Masters, we're going to dedicate one of our rare runs to this 2-second card game.
Well, I mean, we know
those guys are morons too.
We know it existed.
Yeah.
We know it was sold in stores.
Yeah.
We know it got pulled off shelves.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is up for debate.
They should have used it to determine the sales figures.
Well,
yeah.
I asked Taboo if it was a good game or not for one of my questions.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at interpreting tarot card readings, but all answers pointed to no.
That's something else you should mention. When you ask this thing a question, it's not just going to be like, yeah, you're good. It's
no.
No, you've got to go through the whole rigmarole. It's got to explain what the cards are, which ones are reversed, what their reverse meaning and that position means. And when you get done reading all the cards, you just stand there going like I asked the question to this thing. I asked, are we going to have a good show today? And it was all about money. It's like you're going broke. I'm like, that's not what I asked. So yeah.
The name, the birth date, the gender, and the question almost certainly has no bearing on your reading. It literally just flips over a card and puts it out there, and then you are left to your interpretation, which is the whole point of tarot card readings.
Often when I'm getting a tarot card reading, they ask me for my state. That's all that.
So the whole point of these things is to for you to interpret your own answer. So, Aaron, what did you think of this glorious game?
Oh, as a game, I don't hate it at all because I like tarot cards. I think they're cool. I think they're fun. I've turned a card or two. Much like the Dark Lady Cher and that glorious song. Yeah, you never heard that song? Allow me to sing it for you. No. Anyway, and I've got a bunch of different decks. In my younger days, I was more into that stuff than I am now. So I like the idea of like an automate, because really you can automate tarot to a certain degree, mechanically, because of the positions, the meanings of the cards. You can sort of do it, okay? So that's kind of neat. But I mean, I would have done more. This is, even by Nintendo standards, or even Atari 2600 standards, this is very little here. I mean, to put in a cartridge, there's very little here.
Yeah.
You could have done something else. You could have had a Wheel of Fortune. You could have rolled the bones, Teely, something. You could have at least had a cool, better interface with like a Xantar or something like a witch, anything. So I mean, it's pretty generic, by today's standards. But overall, I wouldn't pay for it. Now,
Aaron, I believe we had reviews of these.
You're right.
If you want to fall back and give the review.
Yeah, because I didn't even read those, did I? I sure am dumb. I predict that I'm going to blow it again. So let's go ahead and we're talking about just on Taboo here. Bajako chimed in. He said, I once paid a bikini-clad lady in a cowboy hat in Vegas for a tarot card reading. Alcohol may have been involved. And she told me I should quit my job and start my own business. I was in Vegas on the company dime then, so yeah, maybe not. Anyway, Taboo, it's a bit of fun giving you a tarot card reading for a question of your choosing. Enter your name, birth date, gender, and then laboriously type in question using the D-pad. That does take forever. Once your reading is done, you get to choose your U.S. state and get some lucky lotto numbers. That's about it. I asked Taboo if I would win the lottery, and it said I was a fool with a tendency for foolish choices. So I bought a real lotto ticket with my lucky number. Taboo knows all. The only real issue with Taboo, other than that it is all a bunch of hooey, is having to enter the details every time. Presentation for an NES product is good with nice graphics and sound, and it all plays the part well. As a curio of retro gaming, it is worth checking out to say you have seen it, but after 20 minutes, you will pretty much have seen it all. 5 out of 10. P.S. We once asked a Magic 8-Ball if we should buy it as a gift for someone, and it said no. So we put it back on the shelf. These things aren't that smart. I would agree with you. I would agree with that 100%. Just backtracking real quick, since I didn't read it earlier, if we get back into the sexy mode. Pajako sent in a review for Dead or Alive, and he writes, going back to this many years after first seeing the game is a lot less jiggly than I remember. That's true. It is a lot less jiggly. Because some of those DOA games got ridiculous.
Keep going.
Under the hood is an average but quite playable volleyball game surrounded by a bunch of mini games, all wrapped up in what feels like a Tamagotchi-like reality show. In my first proper game of this, I lost my first game and got dumped by my partner, and no one would play with me, or even when I dropped a 10 large on a nice gift, I would have it thrown in the trash. Yeah, there you go. So I blew the rest of my money on blackjack and then quit. That is how you do it. And then you've got 13 days being broke on the island. I would like to have seen more special moves, like the actual fighting game, as the volleyball gets a bit samey after a while.
Oh, yeah.
Navigating through an endless menus becomes a chore after a while. Don't get me wrong, I do actually like this for what it is, and both myself and my wife laughed our butts off at how blatant some of the camera shots and poses were. Pick this up cheap if you can for a laugh and some cheap titillation and then hide it away and pretend you were above this kind of thing. 6 out of 10. Well, he only gave that one more than he gave Taboo. That is...
Well, it might change his review score after the lottery pays out.
That is an indictment. So, as we depart Urban Legends games, what did you think of this one? Any final thoughts on the Urban Legends?
It was fun. I had a lot more fun researching the Maniac Mansion, and I did all the research. I hadn't played it. I mean, I played it before, but I hadn't went back and played it. I was like, let's see if we've reviewed this before. Of course we have.
You picked it, you idiot.
No. Aaron, you know what's not an urban legend?
What's that, the Brent?
The quality of Retro Rewind.
Oh, yes, you're not kidding there, my friend. Listen, it's not a myth. It's fact that when you send your computers up to Frank, up in Canada at RetroRewind.ca, you'll get quality service. These guys are soothsayers and seers of service. They know everything about taking care of your retro machine. Everything from the Commodore Amiga, the Commodore CD32, all the way down to your VIC-20s. Probably do some pet action. Don't forget the TRS-80 color computer. They'll work on that too. And they don't just do work. They'll let you provide your own service by sending you diagnostic tools to help you fix your own machine, cap kits and the like. And let's not forget the extensive catalog of products they sell for each computer, SD solutions, accelerators, and the like. Please, we beseech you, give Frank a shot at RetroRewind.ca.
Absolutely.
What do you got this week, man?
Aaron.
Please, if you put chat crap back on there, I'm going to beat you.
No. I put the Retro Rewind piece back on the wheel.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Let's see what you got.
And if the Retro Rewind hits, it's an all systems bundle.
Let's hope it doesn't hit. Let's pick another winner. Here we go. And the winner is... We got a legitimate winner here.
Pixel Gaiden Mistakes. Good games when they were bad, or bad games when they were good.
Okay, who sent that one in?
That is an Eric Nelson.
Eric Nelson of the Pixel Gaiden podcast. I never miss an episode of Pixel Gaiden, and we're gonna look at a couple games that they thought stunk, but were actually the best.
Or reverse.
I can think of, for example.
Oh no! Don't spoil.
No, this is one that no one's gonna pick. But I'm gonna say they hate Galago, or they hate it. So there you go. Who knows why? So that'll be fun. And also, while we're talking about Pixel Gaiden, please check out the Pixel Gaiden podcast on this very channel.
Yes.
Brent. The great show, 3 hosts with the most, Brent. Now, before we go, a couple little items here. Number 1, bam, Boat Fest. Let's talk about it. Brent, give them the scoop.
Well, Boat Fest is a thing that will
give
happen.
them a better scoop.
June 23rd through 25th, Aaron. We're going to do a little convention, a little gathering of the minds, an international meeting where we are going to explore all the goodness of retro gaming.
Yeah.
We are going to have systems up for play. We're going to have live tapings. We're going to have never before seen merchandise, if that's your thing.
In fact, it doesn't even exist right now. That's how rare it is. And you can give it as gifts and try to earn friendship with people. Good luck.
We're going to have an auction. We're going to have some games to be played, like game show games. And it is all happening at the end of June. If you want more details, if you want to get your tickets, if you want to get to West Virginia for the Boat Fest, you can go to boatfest.info.
Yeah. By the way, I hear that you're going to be the auctioneer.
I'm going to sell something.
Do you think you can do it in an honest way without blowing it? I don't think you can.
Well, honest, yes. Do I think I can pull off auctioning stuff? Also, yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have tried to volunteer.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for turning out for our Eurovision song contest show last night on the Discord. One of the many advantages you get, I guess, this is an advantage of hooking up with our Patreon just for a couple bucks. Bam,
a small
you're
gift.
in. We had a good crowd in there. Of course, you didn't show up.
And we won't even tell you how you're going to die.
We had a lot of fun watching the Eurovision last night. Once again, congratulations to the fine folks in Sweden. Even though the Israelis and the Finns got screwed again, that's the way it goes. By the way, UK, get it together over there. I think that's all we got, Brent. Any final thoughts?
Nope. Oh, happy Mother's Day. As of the time of recording is Mother's Day. Go give your all's mom a hug.
I love my mommy.
Well, that's good. Me too. I love your mommy a lot.
Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Bye,
Adios.
everybody.